Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Today marks the anniversary of the Volyn Massacre, a tragic event which cost the lives of nearly 12,000 Poles living in the Volhynia area in what is today Ukraine. Exactly 76 years ago, on the 11th of June 1943, Ukrainian nationalist troops of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army and local Ukrainian peasantry slaughtered entire Polish families, in many cases using axes, hammers and even pitchforks. Historians estimate that between 1942 and 1945, close to 100,000 Poles were killed by Ukrainians in Volhynia, Eastern Galicia, Lubelszczyzna and Polesia. 95% of them were never given a proper burial.
Bloody Sunday, which is the name for the culmination of the genocide by the Ukrainian Nationalists, has been commemorated since 2016 by the Polish state as the National Day of Remembrance of Victims of Genocide committed by Ukrainian Nationalists on citizens of the Second Polish Republic. The President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, laid wreaths under the Volhynian Massacre monument in Warsaw. In his speech, President Duda stated that the only way to properly honor the memory of the victims is to obtain the approval of the Ukrainian side to exhume the bodies of the murdered Poles. The only way to truly commemorate the Volhynia crime is for the Ukrainian side to agree to perform exhumations, so we could mark the graves, so the children of the murdered Poles would know where to light a lamp in their parents' memory. Poles in Volhynia were being slaughtered with bullets, axes, pitchforks, scythes, hoes and other farming implements. The savage acts committed by the Ukrainians on Poles were instigated by the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, which encouraged Ukrainian peasantry to get rid of Poles in the east and claim their lands for themselves. Men, women and children alike were killed, whole villages were burned down. Most Poles were murdered on July 11th during the Sunday Holy Masses.
How does it happen that so many people can become so violent and cruel? In every society there are dangerous individuals, but there are large groups bound to kill.
The Ukrainian counterpart of the Institute of National Remembrance still claims that the Volhynia massacre wasn't genocide but regular war, in which each side lost 50,000 people. Meanwhile, Polish historians continue to present reliable sources which state that 100,000 Poles perished, where only 10,000 Ukrainians were killed by Poles who either took revenge or defended their families.
The discussions to decide which political parties will be members of the opposition coalition to fight this autumn's elections to the Polish parliament continues. Who is going to create the opposition front? Alexander Rzeź has more.
The Civic Platform Party has two choices when it comes to creating a coalition before the upcoming Polish parliamentary elections. They can either enter into a coalition with the Polish People's Party or with other left-wing parties, including the Democratic Left Alliance. According to the leader of the Polish People's Party, the coalition created by many left-wing parties wasn't a good idea, as proved by the European parliamentary elections, which the Law and Justice Party won. According to media speculation, the talks between the Civic Platform Party and the Polish People's Party are not going in the right direction.
I think that the idea presented by Kosiniak-Kamysz regarding the two ideas of creating a coalition gathers more and more enthusiasts. The idea meets our citizens' expectations. Many people from different regions of Poland tell us that the form could be different, could be improved, and this idea is a chance to gather more people. The situation is very important because it concerns Poland and how it's going to be in the future. The opposition has to be well prepared. The Polish People's Party thinks that not crossing the electoral threshold will be better than being in coalition with many left-wing parties.
The talks between the opposition parties are still continuing. We don't know when exactly we find out about the results.
According to the Minister of Health, Łukasz Szumowski, the shortage of some medications in pharmacies that has occurred in the last few days is the result not only of global deliveries, but also the result of the negligence of the last Civic Platform and Polish People's Party government. Szumowski gave assurances that the situation is returning to normal.
We're in touch with the pharmaceutical companies. The medicines in question were mainly for thyroid diseases and diabetes. We talked about the companies and the medicines are already in the country, ready to be distributed further. The problems appear due to the globalization of the pharmaceutical market. Nonetheless, the safety and well-being of our citizens is our prime concern. Hence, we're launching a special helpline on Monday, where you can ask where to buy the necessary medicine.
On the 16th of July, the European Parliament will vote on the election of Ursula von der Leyen, the former German Minister of Defence, as the new president of the European Commission. Given the fierce battle between the various political factions in the European Parliament, her election is not a foregone conclusion. Wołyńska has more.
During the hearings before the European Parliament, Ursula von der Leyen tried hard to make a good impression and win the favor of the MIPs in order to secure their votes for her candidacy for the post of the President of the European Commission.
I came here to work with Parliament, and I'm confident that we will work together.
After Ursula von der Leyen had been nominated by the head of the European Council, Donald Tusk, it seemed that it would be downhill from here. But nothing could be more wrong. The DPA agency claims that the German Social Democrats will not vote for their compatriot. The reason for this are the scandals involving von der Leyen candidate during her term of office as the German defense minister. Von der Leyen, however, stayed away from that subject and presented her main plans, the most important for her being a solution to the immigration and climate crisis.
We will have to be more ambitious because we are running out of time. CO2 has to have a price. If we want to set global standards, we have to move fast. We have to be more ambitious about the 2030 goals, because climate neutrality by 2050 is a must.
We must act on the principle of a certain logic. The majority of the European People's Party is not satisfied with the candidacy of Ursula von der Leyen. They have a chance that the representative will become the head of the Commission, so they also do not find it easy to make a decision, and we count on that. There is no clarity, there is no certainty, because the power structure in Europe and the European Union has changed. As a result of the election, there has been a clear shift to the right. Maybe it is not reflected spectacularly, but you can see what is happening. The time is now over when those great powers from the western part of Europe met as a group to decide matters, and then everything went smoothly. New conditions, and that's the impression of what is happening, the struggle and the desire to retaliate which we observe here.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for Poland Daily Weather, business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.